I think they have a very good perception of science. I think there's a lot of information about there that they want to learn. And I'm in the area of health sciences, particularly infectious diseases. And I guess, as you know, one of the things people are interested in is what are the diseases out there that affect them. For example, the avian influenza back in 2009, that was a big topic throughout, and there was a worry about whether infectious disease or H1N1 would affect them. So, there's a lot of public interest in sciences, not only infectious diseases, but other areas. You read the newspapers out there, there's tons of articles on diabetes, stroke prevention, and the public, are very interested in this type of information because it relates to them, relates to their families, cancer, the latest cancer breakthroughs and therapies. I mean, these are all applicable to all the public, not just the scientists.
A general sort of mysticism about what science is and what scientists do and how I think most directly impacts people in a safety sense, and they're concerned, and in a way because of movies, I think, and popular fiction about things that can go wrong. Science can go wrong, and that's been a popular theme among different forms of literature and movies for a long, long time. So I think that that's still a concern of people, that in nuclear disasters, for example, when science goes wrong, and then you can spin out all sorts of interesting and horrifying conclusions.
Well, it's certainly fascinating to me what science means to the public, and actually what I do, just as an aside first, is I really like looking at science articles and what general public commentary is on articles at the bottom of articles, where people put comments in, just to see what people are tending to think. Of course, it'll be a biased sample of people who just want to comment on these articles, but I have to say the impression I get is people care about science, they appreciate science, but they also have certain frustrations with science. Feeling like, is some of the stuff all completely relevant? Not understanding some of the details, and actually in some cases not even understanding what science really is, the sort of hypothesis-driven nature of science. I think increasingly it's not, though it was very fascinating to me. Something I made a mention of recently, I think it was on Facebook, that the recent Higgs boson announcement was made, and the Globe and Mail newspaper here in Canada, went and had this description of this Higgs boson discovery and talked about the leaders, and mistakenly assumed that the leaders of the two leaders of the two teams involved in this discovery were both male, when actually the leader of one of the groups was female, and they quickly changed their description to refer to she. But in short, I actually think it is changing, though, a lot. I think increasingly people are realizing that there are females pretty active in science. I think it is very important for young women because, as has been shown through a lot of studies, the female and male brain is actually quite different. It sometimes disturbs me, actually, when I start reading about this and I look at my husband's brain like going, really, you're thinking differently from me, and what are you thinking? But and so they bring different perspectives in some cases. On average, there's always a lot of differences and individual variation, but certainly I think it's really important that we keep women engaged in science. And one of the best ways to do that is for them to see role models. I had my PhD supervisor was a woman, and it does help when you're sort of a young girl and you're trying to think what you want to do in your life, and you think maybe I would like to do some research, but you sort of think of it as a part-time thing while you're married with two kids and or whatever your plan is. And you end up finding out that you see these role models of people who are married with two kids and have this science career, and you think, oh, it's actually possible to do them both. And so I think that's really important.